Hi YouTubers, and I'm back for another one of these What Would Have Happened If This Were in Real Life RhinoTMRT Gameplay Series YouTube videos. Now, I figured I'd do another one of these, because they're very great and all that, except, the last time I did the Titan Megamind spin-off movie story, well, this time I'm actually doing the Lord Farquaad Shrek spin-off movie story. Wouldn't you like to see the Lord Farquaad going over like it? Wouldn't you like to see Lord Farquaad's mother? The death of Lord Farquaad's mother before the first Shrek movie came out. Wouldn't you like to see that in a movie somehow in the movie version? I know we only have like pictures of how like Lord Farquaad's mother died, who is named P, as in Princess in the P, as based off of like the Princess in the Pea book. And then I found out online that Lord Farquaad's father is actually Grumpy, one of the seven dwarves, which is honestly very kind of great of a coincidence. So I figured, why not do another Shrek spin-off movie story? It did perfectly well with I did perfectly well with it with the Prince Charming and Fairy Godmother one. So why not do one with Lord Farquaad? So, yeah, it's actually an interesting idea. And, it's an interesting idea that I go forth and go on and for so on and so forth, just like what he says in the first movie. Yeah, that's just the idea. So the idea is that it's basically a new movie story idea, but it's another one of those spin-off, and it's another one of those spin-off movie story ideas where it takes place a long time ago, which also serves as a prequel, which you can kind of already understand that. So yeah. So this is what would have happened if the Lord Farquaad Shrek spin-off movie story were in real life. Now we cut open to the beginning where we see a young Lord Farquaad, or simply where we see a young Lord Farquaad, a much younger version of Lord Farquaad, going right out of his bed, and meeting up with both of his mother and father. The beginning where the Lord Farquaad can't sleep, and the beginning where the main character can't sleep, and then the main character's one parent or two parents, where the main character's parent or parents has to tuck them in and then get them to sleep. That sort of like it's kind of been done before with like the Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. Where Alice can't sleep in, and then his father says, and then Alice talks to his father about the whole creatures being alive thing, and her seeing them in the dreams and all that. Yeah, it's somewhat similar. Okay, so the beginning for the Lord Farquaad Shrek spin-off movie story idea. It's the beginning of it is a little bit similar. The beginning of it is a little bit similar to that Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland intro, with Alice talking to her father in the beginning before going to bed. It's sort of like that. So I can kind of call the beginning like the beginning and prologue, something like that. Then we, of course, would cut open to a couple of years later, where we see that Lord Farquaad's mother, of course, obviously passed away, but we'll get a flashback. But don't worry, we'll see Lord Farquaad's mother die at the death of Lord Farquaad's mother. We'll see that in this movie a little bit later, in like a flashback later in there. So we'd still see at least some part of it later in there. And we see Lord Farquaad and Lord Farquaad's father, who's Grumpy, one of the seven dwarves. And now, as you can kind of see, without Lord Farquaad's mother around, Lord Lord Farquaad's father, Grumpy, he usually is, like Grumpy, like, just like as his character trait for the one of the seven dwarves. And he doesn't really get a lot of, like, he isn't really like loved by like millions of people, even Lord Farquaad. So yeah, you can kind of see the similarities between this. So you can kind of picture the Lord Farquaad movie sort of as like a villain movie, like which one I can think of. It would basically be like a villain movie. It would basically be like a villain movie, like Megamind, for example. Yeah, it would kind of be like Megamind for an example, except it would the main character Lord Farquaad would only be an antagonist far throughout the whole movie itself. So you can kind of picture it that way. So the Lord Farquaad movie, after the beginning and prologue, and after the whole time jump, Lord Farquaad goes. Eventually, Lord Farquaad tells the tale of how his mother died, about how his mother, Princess of Duloc, got, just like how the Shrek Wikipedia says, it says that, the Princess of Duloc gets fallen off of so many bed mattresses, like so many high ones. Yeah, you already know. You already know. She already. You get the idea where she's like up here and then she falls down and then dies. Exactly. That's just how it is. That's how I found it out. So we of course see that. We of course see that flashback. Uh, we of course see that flashback, and then seconds later we head back. It shows the Lord Farquaad going on a horse, much like through different villages, going through different villages, mainly destroying them. Something he would usually do without Lord Farquaad telling his father Grumpy or letting him know about him, doing bad things to people. So that's how. So this is what it would. This would basically be Lord Farquaad's story before he became ruler of Duloc. It's sort of like a it's sort of like a prequel for the character itself. Like before he met Shrek, before he met Donkey, before right after his mother, but right after his mother died and right after his father became, not really a good relationship with him. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to see how things would play out if we got a Lord Farquaad movie, which honestly would be the best thing imaginable. And would there be an antagonist? Well, I kind of would say that there would be an antagonist. So the antagonist would actually be another person who's trying to. Sort of like the main antagonist, the main antagonist would be sort of like a rival for Lord Farquaad. The rival of Lord Farquaad, he he is not really a fan of Lord Farquaad and doesn't think that he should, rule over Duloc, like his mother before him. Which I guess it seems a bit, different. Like there's a rival of Lord Farquaad. Lord Farquaad is trying to, surpass his rival. Lord Farquaad is trying. So basically, what I'm saying is that Lord Farquaad, all this movie. So basically, what I'm saying is that all this movie story idea is about is basically Lord Farquaad trying to win over the title of becoming ruler of Duloc. Well, that and of course going around doing evil things to other villages and other kingdoms and everything. So yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, I can look. I'm just guessing that that's how the Lord Farquaad movie would go about. I mean, what else is there even left to say? I mean, Lord Farquaad would obviously win over his rival, become leader of Duloc, and then what else would there even be? What else would happen right after he becomes the ruler? Sure, they would say, well, here's the merchandise. Here, I want some merchandise. That's kind of the idea that I'm going for. Sure, that's pretty much the end of it, but I'm going to rewind back before the end of it, where Lord Farquaad is struggling to win at the ruler games, where they're like the ruler games are basically So basically, the ruler games are like, I'm just gonna add that in here. They're basically like a thing, where if you win over the ruler games, then you become the, Lord of Duoloc, which I guess seems fair since he is called Lord Farquaad. So, in order to match it up, really, it would have to be it. So, in order to match this up, there would be sort of like six different games. The first game Lord Farquaad would go after would be a knighting, like where they, how like they do one horse is here, one horse is here, two knights are battling at each other, and one has to take the person out, and then the other person goes out, and this person wins. That's the first game. Then the second game is bow and arrow. So like, how do I do this? Bow and arrow. Bow and arrow it at a sheep. That's the second game that they do. The third game is, and this is going to sound a bit different, going up to the moon, getting a stone from it, and then bringing it down to Duloc. And then the so that was the first three games. The fourth game, and I really want to say the fourth game of the ruler games is how to put a crown on nicely, and then shaking it around, seeing if you can use it the right way. And then the fifth game, I have a perfect idea for the fifth game. Climb up the building, and then reach the top, and then touch the flag, touch the flagpole, the thing on top of it. Touch the flag on the top, and then come right down. That's the fifth game. And then the sixth game, the sixth and final game is checkers. I couldn't figure of anything else. So here you can kind of see, like Lord Farquaad is kind of going against, his rival. I'm not going to name the rival. I'm just going to call him the rival of Lord Farquaad, and he's all like, wow, I'm going to win and become Lord of Duoloc, not you, Farquaad. But eventually Farquaad becomes Lord of Duoloc and eventually beats up his rival. And then as the end goes on, the rival of Lord Farquaad is eventually sentenced to the dungeons and then basically dies in the dungeons. That's basically how it all plays out. So Lord Farquaad becomes a happy Lord of Duoloc, and then all of Duoloc, praises him as a great person. Lord Farquaad has finally become a lord, and everything he dreamed for is eventually put up on, with him being a famous person. And that basically would be the end of the movie, the end. And that was what would have happened if the Lord Farquaad Shrek spin-off movie story were in real life. Now, I actually kind of like the idea of the Lord Farquaad Shrek spin-off movie story idea, because it shows us what the main antagonist of the Shrek 1 movie, Lord Farquaad, it shows us what he was like before the Shrek 1 movie. It tells us what his life was like before that. And I mean, sure, they already hinted it, with Lord Farquaad's mother dying, Lord Farquaad's father never having a good relationship with Lord Farquaad. I mean, sure, we have that, but we want more info. We want more backstory on Lord Farquaad, am I right? So, yeah, it's kind of very great and all that, and I'm happy that I made this, so yeah. Anyways, that's it for today. Peace out. Bye-bye.